Hey everybody, I've got another set of Heusinkveld Sprints here. I got these from a buddy of mine who just bought another set of Sprints because he's having an issue with the brake pedal. So I said, let me have them, let me see what I can do and see if I can fix them. So let's take a look. So this is the main issue here. So I'm spinning the lock nut away from the thumb nut, which is frozen onto that threaded rod. So I cannot get this thing to turn. So that's what we've got to fix. I've got to try and pry the whole assembly off the back here so I can loosen everything up and actually get to everything. So we've got to pull off that backing plate, and now I can take this whole the elastomer spring spacer setup apart. And now that I've got all of that cleared out of the way, I can start more disassembly on this pedal set. Taking the pedal arm out of the main pedal base, just got a couple parts here, and I'm looking at how much wear is on these, as well as some just old grease and dirt and stuff. So we're going to get all that cleaned up as well. And this is the threaded rod with the thumb nut that's frozen. So luckily I'm able to spin the head away from it, which is perfect because now I don't have to replace this whole thing. And so far these two nuts come off really nice and easily. It's just that thumb nut that is totally frozen. You can't tell from looking at it, but if you get some tools and some straight edges, the thumb nut is actually bent. I've got the main pedal components disassembled here, laid across the table, and besides the thumb nut, we're so far so good. Everything's looking pretty good. It is an old pedal set, and over time stuff does collect on the board, so we got that cleaned up. I'm not going to go into detail about how I clean this up because I really don't want any of you to try it. I work with microelectronics in my day job, so I trust myself to do this, but I don't want you to accidentally ruin your pedal set. Until I've got a new thumb nut, I'm 3D printing a part that'll take its place. I went back and forth on whether or not I wanted to cut the thumb nut off or if I wanted to try and heat it up and try and get it to spin, but ultimately I decided to cut it because I didn't want to potentially damage the threads any more than they possibly already are. So I'm changing out the blade on my cordless Dremel here, and we're going to start cutting. We're not cutting here, the trash can though. So whenever you're working on something like this, you want to take your time and go slow. What I did here was cut 2 slots into either side of that thumb nut. That way I could use a wedge and kind of break the little bit of metal that's left over right at the threads without damaging the threads. So here you can see right where the metal broke, right in between the threads there. So that's like perfectly what I was aiming for. Since it broke at the threads, it loosened the whole piece, and because it was bent and wouldn't allow it to turn, now that it's got that extra space, I could spin it off of the threaded rod pretty easily. The threads look pretty good, and the only thing I have to do now is to double check those threads and to see if the rod itself is bent. And as you can see from how quickly the nut spins, we are good to go. Now I've got all of the parts cleaned up, prepped, ready to go for assembly, so I'm going to shut up, play some music, and enjoy the assembly. And last but not least, we've got to make sure the pedal still works. So here we are, I've got it plugged in here, just testing the range, and it is dead on. We're good to go. Like I said earlier, I do have a thumb nut on order to replace the 3D printed part just because I don't want to use that long term. But as for right now, the pedal is rebuilt. It still works. We're going to swap out that thumb nut later on when I get it in the mail. And this is a working pedal set that has preload adjustable once again, and I'm happy I could fix these for my buddy. If you enjoyed the teardown and build process, throw me a like, and if you want to see more sim racing content, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I've got more racing stuff, more sim rig related things, all kinds of things sim racing. Also, a special thank you to my first 3 channel members. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.